Yo, Atlas speaking, and welcome back to the Atlas Fanfic channel. Today I'm back with part 3 of What If I Was Reborn in Naruto as the Sage of Six Paths Successor. And without further ado, let the tale begin. Chapter 18, Truth. Cole looked at his son with worry in his eyes. Naruto had tears in his eyes and was staring at his father in fear. Is it true, I am the Kyuubi no Yoko? I'm adopted. Cole couldn't say anything. He had never seen Naruto like this in 12 years. He didn't know what to do. So he did what came natural. He hugged his son. And didn't let go. The boy began to shake and sob. Cole just held him. Once Naruto calmed down enough to listen to reason, Cole loosened his hold on him so he could look him in the eye. Naruto, he said calmly, never in my life have I ever looked at you as anything less than my son. I may have adopted you, but I still love you. You are my son, and nothing will ever change that. Naruto had tears rolling down his face while he looked at his father. But, I'm a monster, a demon. Cole just held him tighter. Never call yourself that again. You are my son. You are Uzumaki Naruto. And that will never change. You know enough about Fuinjutsu to know the difference between a kunai and a scroll. Naruto continued to shake in his father's embrace. But he had calmed down enough to stop crying. He suddenly froze and said, Does Mom know? Does Hina-chan know? Cole let out a small sigh. Yes, Anko knows, but she has known since you were only 3 months old. And that hasn't kept her from loving you any more than it has me. Hinata doesn't know about it though. But, I don't think she would care what was sealed inside of you. As long you are you, that's all that matters. Cole held his son in the forest. He held till the boy fell asleep from emotional exhaustion. Cole made a clone to deal with Mizuki's corpse and he carried his son home. Anko opened the door for her husband and son, expecting them to be triumphant and happy for him catching the traitor. But what she saw was a sadness in Sainara's eyes she had never seen before, and her son in his arms asleep. What happened? Sainara walked in silently and went to Naruto's room. He let his son down on his bed and went out of the room and closed the door behind him. Anko was following her husband in curiosity. When he closed the door, he leaned against it and slid down the door, his hands rubbing his temples. He looked up to see his wife's distressed face. He knows. Those 2 words were all Anko needed. Tears came to eyes and she sat down with her lover and held him. She held him close and stroked his hair, telling him it'll be all right. But knew this already. He knew Naruto was a tough kid. It was just, the fear of having his son not look at him as a father anymore, terrified him. The next morning Naruto woke up feeling exhausted. He got dressed and walked into the living room. He saw his father sitting on the couch. He looked tired, but he just smiled at him. Hey, Naru-chan, he said, his voice quiet. Naruto slowly walked to him. Cole sighed. Well, I guess I should start. Come here, there is a lot we need to talk about. Naruto sat in front of him. He was waiting for his father to start saying he was sorry and explain this whole situation. But the only thing he did was hold out a fist in front of him. Naruto was confused and said, what are doing? Cole smiled and said, put your fist up to mine, then close your eyes and relax. All will be explained once you do. Naruto still looked confused but did what he was told, and lost consciousness. He woke up to the sound of dripping water. He slowly stood up and looked around. He was somewhere that looked like a sewer and it was pretty dark. Ah, you're up, welcome to your mindscape Naruto. Naruto turned around and saw his father. Where the hell did you bring me? He got in a defensive position. Cole just raised his hands and said, nowhere, we're inside your head. This is your mindscape. Here, try changing the environment. Naruto thought for a moment. Then he was suddenly blinded by sunlight as the place changed into a sunny grassland. Whoa! Cole chuckled and said, I know, right? I've been waiting for us to get the chance to come here. There is someone I'd like you to meet. Turn around and say hi. Naruto turned and almost shit himself. There in a massive cage was the largest and most powerful being he had ever seen. The fox just grinned at the boy's reaction and said, If you think I'm scary now, why don't you let me out? I'll show you a good time while I eat you. Naruto gulped and Cole laughed. That's not very nice, Kurama-chan. Kurama just let a low growl escape and smirked at Cole. Been a while, Gaki. You sure grew since the last time you were here. Hell, I think you could give that old Hashirama a run for his money now. Cole laughed and said, I don't know about that. I'd need a lot more battle experience. Naruto was, well, stunned. Here standing before him and his father was the most powerful demon in the world. Something that was responsible for the countless deaths on the day of his birth. The thing people hate him for. And his father is, chatting with it? They were acting like old friends who hadn't seen each other in a few years. Okay, what the hell is going on here? Why are you two so friendly? Cole turned to his son and said, Well, Naruto, let me introduce you to Kurama, the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Kurama leaned down to look at Naruto. Sup, kid? I'm happy you finally found your way down here. So, Oracle, we doing it now or what? Cole just thought for a moment. He sighed and said, Nah, not yet. I don't. His body could withstand the stress. We are actually here to make introductions and answer questions. Cole cleared his throat and turned to his still confused son. He pulled a mask out of nowhere and put it on. He bowed to Naruto and said, I guess I should go first. Hello, Naruto. You may know me as your father. But I am also known by another name. I am the Oracle of the Rikudo Sennin, seer of the future and speaker of prophecy. I am the Oracle, and I know a great many things. Chapter 19, October 10th. Cole cleared his throat and turned to his still confused son. He pulled a mask out of nowhere and put it on. He bowed to Naruto and said, I guess I should go first. Hello, Naruto. You may know me as your father. But I am also known by another name. I am the Oracle of the Rikudo Sennin, seer of the future and speaker of prophecy. I am the Oracle, and I know a great many things. Naruto just looked at his father with a blank stare. Okay, first off, the hell is with that stupid bow? Cole looked up at Naruto. What? I thought it was cool. Kurama, it was cool, right? Kurama just looked at him with the same expression. Yeah, I've been meaning to tell you that bow looks hilarious. Especially when you do it with that stupid voice. Kurama rolled on the floor when he saw the dark atmosphere form around Cole as he looked down, mumbling things about stupid foxes and mean sons. Naruto looked back at the Kyuubi and still had a look of confusion. Was this the being that attacked Konoha and killed so many people? Of course he could feel its overwhelming power, but based on what he's seen, why would the fox attack in the first place? So I've got the weird intro from my dad, so, what's your gimmick? Kurama looked down at Naruto. He laughed a bit. Well, I don't have a stupid introduction like the idiot over there, but I am the Kyuubi no Kitsune. And my name is Kurama. I don't normally give my name out to just anyone, but I think you are amusing, kid. He gave a feral smile at Naruto that made him shiver a bit. So, why did my dad know your name? Better yet, how is he here? This is my mind, right? Kurama looked over at Cole and said, Yeah, well, why don't you ask him? He's the one with the old man's eyes. Naruto looked at his father with a confused look. Cole sighed and began to explain about the Rikudo Sennin. How he sees glimpses of the future. and the Renegade's relationship with the Bijou. Naruto looked dizzy with all of the new information. He shook his head and looked at Cole with a critical eye. So, you see the future and I'm some sort of child of prophecy. Is that the reason you adopted me? Cole let out a sad sigh. Yes, at first I adopted you to see through the prophecy. But that day I first held you, I knew you were more. Days went by and began to see you as my own. I've seen your first steps, heard your first words. I've been there all of these years. Please, do not doubt me for a second when I tell you I love you, Naruto. You are my son. Blood be damned, I would fight the entire world to keep you safe. Not for some prophecy, but because you are my son. And nothing will ever change that. Naruto had tears in his eyes. He rushed his father and got him in a bear hug. Cole hugged his son back and gently rubbed his back. So, who were my real parents? Cole released his crying son and looked to Kurama. You want to take this one? You knew them as well as anyone else. Kurama shrugged and began his tale. Listen here, kid. Your parents were two of the strongest humans I have ever encountered. Right up there with Hashirama and that bastard Madara. In fact, your mother was able to hold me within her as well. She was my host before you. Kushina was powerful and hot-headed woman. Naruto's ears perked up when he heard the name. Kushina? Yes, Uzumaki Kushina. She was my second host. Right after Uzumaki Mito, the wife of Senju Hashirama. The Shodaime Hokage. Naruto had tears in his eyes. He knew his real mother's name. But why did it feel hollow? Why wasn't he more overjoyed to know his mother's name? Anko, that's right, I already have a mother that loves me. Kurama continued talking about Naruto's parents. When he got to Naruto's father, he was surprised. My father was the guy who beat you? Kurama growled lightly and he said, yes, he was. I never really liked the guy. But I respected him for his strength. That Hiraishin of his was a really nasty technique. Kurama continued to talk and answer the boys' questions. Cole just sat back and watched how they interacted. He didn't see any hate for the fox in Naruto's eyes. He also didn't see any hate from Kurama either. They seemed to be really hitting it off. Naruto, you are so strong. You have always had this thing about you. Wherever you go, people follow. They find something in you, something that picks them up when they fall. I'm so happy to be your father. After a few hours, Cole and Kurama explained what happened that night he attacked. How a man named Tobi used Kurama and how Naruto's parents defended him. By the end of it, Naruto was emotionally exhausted. So, Cole said, I think Naruto is ready for that contract with you, Kurama. But no full power taking yet, his body isn't ready for it. Kurama nodded and said, how about it, kid, want to make a deal? Naruto shrugged and looked at the fox to go on. Alright then. I will continue to supply chakra to heal your wounds, as well as give you a boost when you need it. I will also help you train with my chakra so your body can use more and more of it without damaging side effects. Naruto nodded and said, what do I have to do? Kurama chuckled and said, 2 things. First, whenever you meet one of my kin, let me have a word with them. And second, let me have some fun every now and then. I'll hook myself to your senses so I can see and hear everything you can, and I'll also be able to talk to you through your mind. Deal? Naruto looked at Cole and he nodded. Naruto sighed and looked at the Kyuubi with determination in his eyes and his trademark smile. Deal. Back in reality, Anko was nervous. She had been watching Seinaru and Naruto for about an hour now. Seinaru had explained what he was going to do, and it worried her. She didn't know what the fox would do to her son. And she also didn't know if he would ever call her mom again. Even though she had training to resist torture, had seen countless bodies, fought in many life and death battles. This terrified her. A few seconds later they opened their eyes and stretched. Naruto had a look of determination and looked over to see Anko. She looked worried and he smiled at her. "Hey mom." Tears came to Anko's eyes and she jumped over the couch and hugged him so hard that he was turning blue. "Okay mom, I love you, too, can't, breath." She loosened her grip so he could breath but still didn't let go. Kurama was laughing up a storm in Naruto's head. And he got a little irritated with the fox. But he just sighed and hugged Anko back. "I love you mom." There was still 6 days before team assignments, so Cole decided to up Naruto's training. The boy had level 7 resistance seals on and felt like he was wading through waist-deep water that was flowing against him. 2 days passed. Naruto began training with Kurama's chakra. Mainly just focusing in on wounds to heal them faster and sensing chakra signatures. With Kurama's help, Naruto discovered he had a third element. So now he wasn't only a wind and water nature. He gained a fire nature as well. With the help of Kage Bunshin, he started learning basic fire manipulation and a couple low-level jutsu. With the real Naruto, Cole felt it was time for another spar. He let him take the seals down to level 2 and the fought. He still didn't stand a chance, but Cole felt like he was making some extreme progress. After the spar, Cole looked at his son and thought for a moment. "You know, I think I have just the jutsu for you to learn." Naruto looked up a little surprised that his father wanted him to learn something new, especially with the jutsu he was already learning. Cole tossed him a water balloon. "It's called the Rasengan. It was your real father's signature move, other than the aeration. And the first thing you gotta do is pop that balloon." Chapter 20, Team 7. After the spar, Cole looked at his son and thought for a moment. "You know, I think I have just the jutsu for you to learn." Naruto looked up a little surprised that his father wanted him to learn something new, especially with the jutsu he was already learning. Cole tossed him a water balloon. "It's called the Rasengan. It was your real father's signature move, other than the aeration. And the first thing you gotta do is pop that balloon." The first thing Naruto heard was the sound of his alarm. His eyes snapped open as he brought an angry fist down onto the evil machine. He slowly got up and rubbed the sleep from his eyes. He had been training with his father non-stop and he felt exhausted. He yawned, but suddenly stopped. "It's time for team selections," he yelled as he got dressed quickly. He had a special outfit to wear for today. His father had gone out and gotten him a new set of clothes to celebrate his graduation. He still wore the black pants and mesh shirt. But he now had a black trench coat like his mother's. But his had the sleeves ripped off and had a dark orange lining on the inside and a red Uzumaki spiral on the back. He also had dark orange bandages on his forearm and black fingerless gloves. He also had the bandages on his shins with black combat boots. And over all that he had on dark gray forearm and shin guards like his father's. He did, however, modify them a bit. He put storage seals on them so he could grab weapons and tools from any position. He also had one of his dad's swords sealed in each of his arm guards. For the past year he had been learning higher level Fuinjutsu and Kenjutsu. Right now he was just below a Fuinjutsu specialist and was a proficient swordsman. He was still far from mastering either techniques, but he was better than most. He ran out of his room and grabbed an apple for the road and said a quick goodbye to his father and tired-looking mother. "Good luck, Naruto!" his father yelled as he ran out the door. Naruto made his way to the Hyuga compound to meet up with Hinata like he always did. She was waiting for him outside the compound, and when she saw him she let out her signature crimson blush. She admired his new look as he made his way over to her. "Oh, my God, and oh, Hinata, get a hold of yourself, you're supposed to be innocent." As she was having a mental battle with inner Hinata, Naruto also bushed a bit at her clothing choice. She was wearing a thin lavender coat and shin-length pants. She had also let her hair grow long like her mother's, like Shippuden Hinata, and he had to admit, he liked the way she looked. Ah, look, the kid is all grown up. He even has a mate. Kurama teased in his mind. Shut up, stupid fox. Kurama just chuckled as he cut the connection. He and Kurama were actually able to form a love-hate kind of relationship. The fox would never admit it, but he actually liked the kid. And Naruto would never admit it, but he had fun listening to the fox's stories of times before Konoha. Stories about his family was still his favorites though. Hey Hina-chan. You ready to go? Naruto asked when he got next to his friend. She nodded and they walked hand in hand to the academy. Alright guys, settle down, Irika said as he walked into the class. He gave everyone a critical eye. But after a second he switched to a warm smile. Congratulations on graduating everyone. But don't get too excited, you are still the lowest of the low. Fresh Genin, so we're going to assign teams of 3 with 1 Jonin sensei. Irika continued to explain their position and their duties to the village. Naruto, however, was paying more attention to the girls sitting next to him. I hope me and Hina-chan are on the same team. I hope. His thoughts were broken when Irika began to list off teams. Team 7, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto crossed his fingers. And unknown to Naruto, Hinata was holding her breath. Haruno Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto's head slammed on the table while Sakura jumped up and yelled something about true love. Hinata let out a depressed sigh when her team was called out. She looked to her crush and smiled weakly. I guess we'll just have to try to see each other when we're off duty. Naruto sighed and agreed. Man, this sucks. First I'm not on Hina-chan's team and now I get stuck with the Pinky and team of all people, he grumbled. Sakura sent him a glare and Sasuke just gave his single-syllable answer, HN. The 3 of them sat there while the other Jonin senseis came and took their teams. A couple of hours went by before realization struck Naruto. Oh. God. Oh. God. Oh my God. Sakura turned to him and snapped, What? Naruto hit his head on the desk again and replied, We have Kakashi Nizen as a Jonin sensei. Sakura raised an eyebrow, How would you know? Naruto turned his head, with it still on the desk, and said, He's the only Jonin that ever this late to anything. I swear he would be late to his own funeral if he could. He groaned and continued to lightly hit his head on the desk. Knock it off, Dobe. It's annoying when you complain, Sasuke said. Fuck you team, was the only reaction Naruto gave him. Before Sakura could go off at Naruto for saying that to her, Sasuke-kun, the door opened. A white-haired shinobi with a ninja mask and one eye covered leaned into the room and asked, Team 7? Naruto groaned in reply. Kakashi eyes smiled at him, Well then meet me on the roof. With a swirl of leaves he disappeared. I've got to get Dad to teach me how to do that, Naruto thought as he and his team made their way to the roof. On the roof they sat in front of the Jonin. Alright, I guess I'm you Jonin sensei. So why don't you guys tell me about yourselves? Sakura raised her hand and Kakashi sighed, Pinky, we aren't in the academy, just say what you want to say. Sakura blushed lightly and said, Oh. Well, could you go first and give us an example, sensei? Kakashi shrugged, I'm Hatake Kakashi. My likes and dislikes are none of your business. You don't want to know about my hobbies. And as for my dreams for the future, I don't really know. The 2 Jonin who didn't know Kakashi's sweat dropped at the fact they only got his name. Naruto just chuckled because he knew more about him, but decided the Banshee and Duck but didn't need to know. There, now, you're up, Pinky. Sakura glared slightly at Kakashi but said, My name is Haruno Sakura. I like, well, the person I like, girly giggles. My dreams for the future, more giggles. Kakashi just thought, great, a fangirl. He sighed and asked, "And your dislikes?" Sakura glared at Naruto and yelled, "Naruto! Naruto!" and Kakashi's sweat dropped. Kakashi gave a sympathetic eye to Naruto and said, "Well, sorry pal. Why don't you go next?" Naruto nodded. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, training, my friends, and family. I dislike those who look down on people without trying to get to know them, and the 3 minutes to cook ramen. My dream for the future is to be the greatest Hokage there has ever been and protect everyone in the village." Kakashi smiled while Sakura and Sasuke scoffed at him. "That's an admirable goal there, Naruto." "Alright, Gloom and Doom, you're up," Kakashi said as he looked over at the brooding boy. Sasuke said, "My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I don't have any likes, but I have too many dislikes to name. And I don't have a dream for the future. I have a goal to restore my clan and kill a certain someone." Kakashi just sighed and thought, Seinaru was right, I need to get Sasuke to give up on revenge. "Alright, now that that's out of the way. I want you to meet me at Training Ground 7 tomorrow at 5 in the morning. I'll explain what you are going to be doing when you get there. But one word of advice, don't have breakfast, you'll just throw it up," Kakashi said. And with that he left in another swirl of leaves. Chapter 21, Teamwork. "Alright, now that that's out of the way. I want you to meet me at Training Ground 7 tomorrow at 5 in the morning. I'll explain what you are going to be doing when you get there. But one word of advice, don't have breakfast, you'll just throw it up," Kakashi said. And with that he left in another swirl of leaves. What the hell was that? All we learned about him was his name and he only talked to us for like 3 minutes. Sakura ranted as soon as Kakashi left. Naruto sighed and said, "Yeah, Kakashi Nizan isn't a man of many words. We'll just have to pass tomorrow's test." His two teammates looked at him. "What test?" they said in unison as they got in his face. Naruto leaned back to give himself some room and began to explain that they would have to take the true Genin test. "What the heck? We're already Genin. We passed the test at the academy." Naruto shrugged and said, "That was just to see if we had the basic skills that can help us in our duties. This is to actually see if we have what it takes to be Genin. It usually has a 66% failure rate. But with Kakashi Nizan, he hasn't passed a single team out of like 9. He saw the nervous looks from Sakura and what he could guess passed as nervous with Sasuke. "But don't worry, I think with all 3 of us working together we can pass." Sasuke scoffed at Naruto. "Like I need some Dobe's help in a test. I got Rookie of the Year because you're too stupid to get through the written tests, and there is no way if someone like you could pass then I couldn't do it with ease." Sasuke scoffed one more time at the angry-looking Naruto and walked off. Sakura looked slightly concerned by Sasuke's attitude, but she still followed him when he left, not even giving Naruto a second look. "Some team I have, not even willing to work with me. I really hope they turn this attitude around by tomorrow. This is a test of teamwork." Naruto thought as he leaped from the roof of the academy to the roofs of the other buildings and made his way home. On his way he stopped suddenly. His eyes glazed over slightly. But it only lasted for a second before he shook his head and quickly pulled out a rubber ball from his storage scroll. He focused on it for a few seconds before it burst in his hands. Hee, I love Cage Bunshin, he thought. They do seem to make things way too easy. It's almost cheating. Kurama snickered in his head. Yeah, but this is the good kind of cheating, where I get to learn super strong techniques in just a small amount of time kind of good. Well, that technique is quite powerful. For a bastardized Bijudama. Kurama replied. Naruto cocked his head at that. What's a Bijudama? Kurama chuckled his deep laugh and replied, something I'll teach you once you can handle a second-level cloak. It's a Biju's strongest weapon. It makes most ninjutsu look like child's play with the amount of destructive force it has. Naruto got a gleam in his eyes and said aloud as he continued to his house, I can't wait. The next morning Naruto woke up at 6. Showered, had some breakfast, got his gear ready, and made 100 shadow clones to do his daily routine of mastering his ninjutsu, fuinjutsu, and honing his abilities with his chakra natures. Once he got to the training ground he saw a bored-looking Sasuke and an angry Sakura. She glared at him and yelled, You're late. Naruto just rubbed his poor ears and explained, I thought by the little example Kakashi Nizen gave us yesterday he is always few hours late to everything. By the way, did you guys eat? Sakura quirked an eyebrow at him and replied, Of course not, idiot, Kakashi-sensei said not to eat. Naruto just sighed and pulled a couple of ration bars out of his scroll. He eat these, you'll need your strength for what we are going to be doing. He only suggested us not to eat, it wasn't an order. He began testing us the moment he met us. So eat, Naruto said as he tossed the bars to his teammates. Sakura hesitated, but as soon as she saw Sasuke begin to eat she ate as well. Once they were done Naruto got serious. Alright, Kakashi Nizen won't be here for about another hour or so. I guess I can tell you guys about the test. Sakura glared at him and said, What would an idiot like you know about the test? And why do you call Kakashi-sensei Nizen? Naruto shrugged and said, I've known him ever since I was a baby. He used to watch me when Dad was out at meetings. And I know about the test because I've known him for so long and we talk. Sakura just gave a surprised huh in response. Sasuke thought it was the time to give his 2 cents, so what about the test? It's usually a survival exercise that tests teamwork. He'll try to pit us against each other while we fight him, and if we don't learn the true meaning behind the test and work together, we fail. Naruto replied. Sasuke just cocked an eyebrow and said, How does this test have a 66% failure rate if all you have to do is work as a team? Excellent question, Sasuke, a new voice said as a poof of smoke appeared behind them. Yo, Kakashi said as he walked out of the smoke. But he wasn't alone. The Uzumaki clan head walked out of the smoke as well, wearing his mask and normal battle clothing. He also had Teki no Hocho strapped to his back. He also raised his hat and said, Yo. Naruto looked surprised and pointed at his father. Dad! What are you doing here? Kakashi and Cole laughed. Kakashi said, Well, Naruto, I knew you would try and tell your teammates what the test was really about, and based on their reaction, I can already say you 3 pass. But Uzumaki-sama wanted to see how far you guys are along, so he asked me if he could test you himself. If he is impressed, you pass. If not, well, you know what happens. Naruto instantly paled. Oh. Looks like this'll actually be a challenge after all, Kit. Kurama muttered in his mind. Sakura looked at Naruto. Wait, isn't your father a civilian? Why would we fight him? Cole decided to answer for himself. Well, Haruno-san, if you didn't know. To be a clan head, you must be both a resident of Konoha, as well as a registered jonin. Sakura just nodded her head in understanding. She looked at Naruto and saw that he actually looked scared. What's wrong with you? Kakashi decided to answer for him. Oh, he's just worried about fighting the only S-rank ninja in the village besides the Hokage. Nothing too bad. The 2 other genin went wide-eyed and paled just as much as Naruto. Cole chuckled evilly and said, Okay, all we're going to do is spar, 3-on-1. Come at me with the intent to kill and I'll judge you guys based on what I see. And just to be fair, I'll just stick to taijutsu and the academy jutsu. Naruto broke out of his stupor and got in a defensive stance. Hey guys. We will really need to work together on this one. Sasuke, you back me up with your fire jutsu and Sakura with your ranged weapons. Sasuke didn't take his eyes off of Cole but said, Don't tell me what to do, dope. This isn't the team exercise. I'll show him what I can do on my own. Sakura didn't answer but pulled out a couple kunai and shuriken. At least she knows a decent plan when she hears one, Naruto thought. Cole smirked at Team 7 behind his mask. You know, if one of you happened to take my mask from me, I just might reward you. As he said that, he saw Sasuke and Sakura get a gleam in their eyes. Naruto glanced at his teammates and sighed in his head. You catch that kid? Kurama asked. Yeah, he's trying to get us to not work with each other, clever old man. Kakashi stood between them. Okay, 3, 2, 1, Hajime. Naruto's teammates jumped for the trees while Naruto charged his father. He created some clones and they went ahead of him while he drew his swords. Cole dispatched the clones easily and formed the chakra receiver rod to parry a thrust from Naruto. Naruto continued to attack relentlessly with his swords while Cole just dodged or blocked every attack. Sasuke, who had been watching in some bushes, thought, when the hell did that doe get those swords? Why don't I have those? I'm an Uchiha, damn it. He continued to watch the trading of blows between the father and son. He very impressed by Naruto's father. He would never admit it, but he knew the doe was at least as good as he was, but his father was treating him like it was nothing. He even cringed when Naruto was sent flying by a kick to the stomach. When Naruto recovered, he put away his swords and went through a set of hand signs. Futon, de Tapa. Wind release, great breakthrough. Naruto took a deep breath and exhaled a powerful wind that kicked up rocks, dirt, and uprooted some bushes. Cole was forced to Kawarimi out of the attack's range, but was met but a few kunai courtesy of an Uchiha who was waiting for the right moment. Cole, however, just used his superior reflexes and caught the blades and used them to deflect Sakura's attempts as well. Good work, that might have worked on you average Chunin, but not me. I am impressed with your timing though. Not many Genin could choose a time to interject in a fight like that, Cole said. After giving the compliment, he dashed at Sasuke and entered a taijutsu fight with the boy. Sasuke tried everything he could to just get at the man's mask, but all of his attempts were either dodged or blocked by the older shinobi. Sasuke sent a spinning heel kick towards Cole's legs, only for his leg to be caught by the giant man and to be thrown into the clearing next to where Naruto was. Hey team, shoot a fireball at him, Naruto said. As Sasuke was getting up, he snarled at Naruto, don't tell me what to do. But he just did it anyway. Katon, Gokaki no Jutsu. Fire release, giant fireball technique. As soon as Sasuke sent the fireball at the Uzumaki, elder Naruto was finishing his own jutsu. Futon, Rinkuden. Wind release, drilling air bullet. Once the wind caught up with the fire, it made the fireball 5 times larger and completely engulfed Cole. Chapter 22, Fuinjutsu. Hey team, shoot a fireball at him, Naruto said. As Sasuke was getting up, he snarled at Naruto, don't tell me what to do. But he just did it anyway. Katon, Gokaki no Jutsu. Fire release, giant fireball technique. As soon as Sasuke sent the fireball at the Uzumaki, elder Naruto was finishing his own jutsu. Futon, Rinkuden. Wind release, drilling air bullet. Once the wind caught up with the fire, it made the fireball 5 times larger and completely engulfed Cole. Sasuke looked at the inferno that he and Naruto made in amazement. He had never been able to form a fire that intense before. He looked at Naruto and asked, did we get him? Naruto just shook his head. He used Kawarimi at the last second. He looked around trying to sense his father. After a moment he caught his signature. Sasuke, jump! He yelled as he jumped to the trees. Sasuke followed quickly after, narrowly dodging Cole as he came out of the ground. Cole chuckled and said, good use of your sensory abilities. He had to stop talking when he blocked a few kunai from Sakura. I almost forgot about you, Haruno-san. Sakura eeped as she ran back for cover, dodging the kunai he sent back at her. She hid behind some trees and her face was pale. What is this guy? Nothing we try has any effect. Her train of thought was broken when she heard, pissed, Sakura. She turned to see Naruto crouched behind her. He handed her a strange-looking kunai and said, "The boss wants you to throw this at him when he gives the word, okay?" She thought for a second. She was a little unsure what Naruto was thinking, but she took it anyway. Naruto saluted her and disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto was watching his father fight Sasuke from a tree when his clone popped. He smirked and thought, "A light, let's see if this'll actually work." "It better, it's the only thing I think will actually get him. If he doesn't use the Rinnegan," Kurama commented. Naruto crossed his fingers and made a quick prayer. He then took a kunai that was similar to the one he gave Sakura and threw it into the inferno that was still raging. He made a few hand signs and yelled, "Fuinjutsu, Kai." With that, the inferno began to disappear. It looked like it was being sucked into the kunai that he threw. "Sakura now," he yelled in her direction. Cole looked away from Sasuke for a second. He heard Naruto yell to Sakura and instantly saw the kunai. But right as he caught it, he regretted it. "Fuinjutsu, Kurai no Haration." Sealing style, fire of the flying thunder god, Naruto exclaimed as his father caught the kunai. After he said that, flames burst from the kunai, completely engulfing his father. The flames only grew with intensity as more flames from the inferno were being transferred between kunai. "Did it hit?" he thought. Kurama chuckled and answered, "Yup, it hit Kit. His chakra signature is still in the fire." Naruto yelled out excitedly. Sakura and Sasuke were wide-eyed, and Kakashi was completely surprised with the jutsu that Naruto just used. How on earth did Naruto learn their reishi? He mumbled to himself. All of their attentions were caught when someone cleared their throat. They all turned to see Cole standing behind Kakashi. "I believe I've seen enough. You guys passed my little test. Good job on beating my clone, by the way," he said in a jovial tone. "By the way, Naruto, we're going to have a nice and long talk about the kind of fuinjutsu you just used and where you learned it from, understand?" Naruto gulped. He knew his father hated not knowing if he was working on fuinjutsu. His father was very adamant about being there to supervise so nothing went wrong. Naruto laughed sheepishly while Sakura smiled and let out a relieved sigh. Sasuke smirked and thought that of course he would pass. He was a Uchiha after all. "Alright guys," Kakashi started, "we'll be meeting here every day at about 6 to do some physical training and warm-ups before we do missions. I'll see you tomorrow." He turned to leave, but stopped. "By the way, good job," he said with a smile before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Naruto and Cole were back at their house and Naruto was getting hit by 100 questions. "When did you develop this? Where were you working? Why didn't you tell me? Is that a Haration kunai? Where did you find it?" The list went on and on before Naruto began to list off answers. "First of all, I found the kunai in the house underneath a loose floorboard. Second, I wanted this to be a new signature move to surprise you with. Third, it isn't finished. It works by taking any elemental chakra in about a 10-meter radius and storing it in a pocket dimension. Then when I activate the second kunai, it forces the chakra out of the dimension. I can use it to counter attacks of move environmental damage. It isn't finished yet because I can't store that much chakra in the dimension before I have to use it, basically as a passageway. Once it's done, I would be able to store any type of chakra in the dimension for an unlimited amount of time." Naruto finished by taking a big breath and letting it out slowly. It was a lot to say and he wasn't the best with words. Cole scratched his chin thinking, "Alright, I want you to keep working on this. It seems to have a lot of other uses than just fighting. You could possibly even use it to give yourself a boost if you run low on chakra, so that's clever. Plus, if you continue working on this, you could possibly figure out how to the Haration as well. They are pretty close to being the same thing. Cole smiled at his son. I'm proud of you, kid. Got anything else I don't know about? Naruto looked away from his dad and said, Will dot. Cole stared at him intently while Naruto let the suspense sink in. The blonde smiled and held out his hand. Check it. In his hand, a small blue orb of chakra formed and began to grow in size. It got to be about the size of his palm before it dispelled. I've almost got the Rasengan down, and Kurama says I'm almost ready to be able to use one tail of chakra in a level uncloak. Cole's smile widened as he ruffled Naruto's hair. That's great! Why don't we go celebrate at Ichiraku's? Naruto jumped up and yelled yeah. The father and son duo were laughing as they went out to celebrate. Chapter 23, Journey. Cole's smile widened as he ruffled Naruto's hair. That's great! Why don't we go celebrate at Ichiraku's? Naruto jumped up and yelled yeah. The father and son duo were laughing as they went out to celebrate. Naruto and his father were making their way to the ramen stand when they came across 3 other new genin. Hina-chan! Naruto called happily. Hinata, who had been walking with her 2 new teammates, turned and smiled, "Hey Naruto-kun." Her teammates turned when they heard their quiet member actually say something. "Ah, great, the idiot is here." Kiba grumbled when he saw the happy blonde. "Didn't he get better scores than you, Kiba? I don't think it would be logical for you to call him an idiot," Shino said to his grumbling partner. Kiba turned to him with a deadpan look and said, "You know, I think that's the most you've said since I met you." Shino shrugged his shoulders and went to join Hinata and Naruto in their conversation. "Hey guys, so I take it that you passed the real Genin test?" the blonde asked. Kiba rolled his eyes. "Of course we would, only idiots wouldn't be able to pass the test." "I bet you guys didn't pass," he said while glaring at Naruto. Naruto grew a tick mark on his head. "What's your problem, dog breath?" "Dog breath, huh? How about I dash?" "Kiba-kun." Hinata stood between the two. "No fighting. We are comrades. Why are you antagonizing Naruto-kun?" Kiba just growled and walked away. Akumaru whined and followed his master with his ears tucked back. "Man," Naruto said. "What was his problem?" Shino decided to speak up and change the subject. "So, congratulations on passing the test, Naruto-san. It is also good to meet you, Uzumaki-sama." Cole turned to the young Aburame and smiled. "It's nice to meet you too, Shino." "Hinata, how have you been?" Hinata let out a slight blush. She had forgotten his manners and only said hi to Naruto and not his father. "I am doing well, Naruto-sama. How have you been?" Cole chuckled and said, "You know, I'm doing pretty well myself. I had a heck of a time testing Naruto's team's ability earlier today." Hinata quirked eye at that. "I thought Kakashi-sensei was the instructor of Team 7? Why were you testing them?" "Oh, I was just testing their abilities for myself. Kakashi already passed them when I passed them. I am actually pretty impressed with how good they are." Cole replied. "Am I correct to assume that you are not a normal civilian, Uzumaki-sama?" Shino asked. "Yes indeed, Shino. If didn't already know, to be considered an official clan head you must be of Jonin rank in Konoha. I am just of duty so I can be clan head," Cole replied. Shino only gave a understanding nod to the elder Uzumaki. They continued to walk and Naruto asked if they wanted to join them. Shino and Hinata both said yes, so they walked onto the stand. When they got there, Cole handed Naruto the money for food and said, "Hey, I need to go talk to Hokage-sama for a little bit, you guys have fun. I'll see you at dinner, Naruto." With that he turned and left. Naruto had an eyebrow quirked but just shrugged it off and went in to enjoy his food. Cole walked down the streets of Konoha with a serious look on his face. Naruto was finally on his team and would be with them for most of his time. He told Kakashi to focus heavily on getting Sasuke and Sakura up to Naruto's level. He would need the backup. He continued on his way to the Hokage Tower thinking about what his next move should be. It wouldn't be that long before Team 7 went to Wave, so he needed to get something out of the way. He walked into the Hokage's office. "Hokage-sama, I would like a word with you, in private." Hiruzen looked up from his mountain of paperwork, actually relieved to have a distraction from his old enemy. "Naruto-san, what can I help you with?" he said as he signaled his Umbu guards to leave. Once they were gone, he activated his privacy seals. Cole gave him a serious look. Hiruzen was just a bit worried. He rarely ever seen Naruto serious, unless it involved his son or his job as Oracle. I need to leave the village for a while, Cole said. Hiruzen raised a concerned eyebrow. And why's that? Where are you going? Mizu, Cole replied. Their bloodline purges have been going on for far too long, and I have a few things I need to look into concerning the Mizukage and who is pulling his strings. Hiruzen looked miffed. He hadn't expected the Oracle to worry about the goings-on in Mizu, let alone want to go there himself and solve the issues there. I don't know if I'd be able to stop you from leaving if you wanted to, so yes, you may leave. But we do have a small issue on what the council will think of your absence, Hiruzen said. Cole thought for a moment and said, just say I have a political meeting in Mizu about the remaining items in Yuzu. Since Yuzu has fallen into their borders, and I bet there are still items there, I could say that I would be there to request getting the items back to the Uzumaki clan. Anko can take my seat while I'm gone, she is my legal replacement anyway. Hiruzen thought about it for a minute. He eventually nodded and said, that would. But how long are you planning to be gone? Cole scratched his chin and said, maybe a month? It'll take me some time to get in and out of Mizu undetected, and I also plan on actually visiting Yuzu, just to see if there is anything actually left there. I also have to take care of a certain puppet master that might be able to give me trouble. Hiruzen had a grave look on his face. Anyone that could give the Oracle, the man with the strongest Jujutsu in history, problems would be a serious threat. Cole continued, I'll be leaving tomorrow. With that he stood to leave the office. By the way, Hokage-sama, you should use Cage Bunshin to handle your paperwork, it'll give you more time to handle the more important issues. With that he left the room. He smirked when he heard the Hokage banging his head on his desk yelling out that he was an idiot for not thinking of that. That night in the Uzumaki house, Naruto was sitting at the table with an annoyed look. Hey kid, what's up with you? Anko asked as she took her seat. Naruto let out a sigh, it's Kiba, Mom. I don't know who put that stick up his ass, but he pisses me off. I was just saying hi to Hina-chan and went off at me like I took his chew toy. Anko snickered at the image of the Inuzuka playing with a chew toy. She then smirked and said with a mocking tone, maybe he likes her? This caused Naruto to freeze and a slight look of rage came to his eyes. But before he could go off, Cole walked through the front door. Hey, I'm home. Naruto and Anko welcomed him home, but saw a tired look on his face. What's up? His wife asked. Anko, I'm gonna need you to take over for me in the council for about a month. What? You didn't do something stupid to get another house arrest again, did you? She asked. Naruto raised his eyebrow at that. He didn't know his father had ever been in trouble with the law before. Cole just shook his head and had a serious look in his eyes. No, I'm going on a month-long mission. I can't say much about it, S-rank and all. But I can say it'll be a little dangerous, and might involve Mizu. Anko looked worried and Naruto looked surprised that his father was going back into the field. What's up with Mizu? He asked. Cole sighed and said, can't tell you yet. I'll tell you once I get back. I leave tomorrow. The next day, before the sun rose over Konoha, Cole walked out the front gates. He took a look behind him at the monument. He sighed and continued walking on. Anko, Naruto, I'll be back. I swear I'll be back. Chapter 24, Kirigakure. The next day, before the sun rose over Konoha, Cole walked out the front gates. He took a look behind him at the monument. He sighed and continued walking on. Anko, Naruto, I'll be back. I swear I'll be back. Hey kid, wake up. That alarm is annoying. A tired Kurama yelled in Naruto's mind. Naruto woke with a small yell. He looked around and slammed his hand on the infernal machine. Sorry about that, Kurama. Guess I was sleeping pretty hard there. You're worried about your father. I get that. But trust me kid, you have nothing to worry about. No one in this world right now can possibly pose a threat to him while he has the old man's eyes and chakra. Kurama, strangely, consoled. Naruto sighed. He knew this already, it's just, he felt like something was going to go wrong. Cole's day was going anything but good. He had almost been caught by some Kiri Jonin 15 times now and he was frustrated. How the hell do they keep tracking me, he thought as he hid in the ground. Ao was on the hunt. He was working recon for the resistance movement against the Mizukage when he saw someone he wasn't familiar with sneaking around the village. Ao was a part of the resistance because once he got his implanted Byakugan, the purgers turned their eyes to him. He had enough with the idiocy of his own village. Bloodline powers were a powerful weapon to have and the destruction of them as only weakened Kiri. Alright, where are you, mystery man? He wondered. Byakugan. He looked all around the last place he saw him. It took him a few minutes but he caught him in his sights. Gotcha, he whispered to himself. Suitun, Surya no Jutsu. Water release, water dragon bullet, he yelled and shot a massive blast of water at where Cole was hidden. Ah, hell no! Cole said as he jumped from his hiding spot and continued to dodge a water bullet. Looks like I finally caught you, mystery man. So I'm gonna have you tell me what exactly you're doing here and then I may or may not kill you. Ao said in an attempt to scare his opponent. Cole sighed. Well, this explains how I kept being found. Ao of the Byakugan Eye. It is a pleasure to meet you. Aren't you a part of the resistance? Why do you care if I am trespassing in Kiri? Cole said. Ao got into a readied stance and replied, I am still a shinobi, a Kirigakure. I have a duty to keep this village safe, be it from outsiders or itself. Cole smirked. That is very commendable, Ao-san. But what I were to tell you that I am here to help Kiri? Cole asked. Ao quirked in that. Cole was really banking on Ao believing him on this one. He waited for about 0.1 of a second before he had to dodge another water bullet. Did you really think I would just go, oh you say? Well, let me bring you to the resistance headquarters so we can save the village. Yeah, fucking right. You must really be Green Kid, Ao said to Cole. Actually, that's exactly what I was hoping for, but I guess we just aren't the trusting type. Cole said. Looks like I'm gonna have to rough you up a bit then. Cole dashed forwards to Ao while dodging an assortment of water jutsu and kunai. He planted a kick punch into Ao's stomach to only get drenched in water after he turned out to be a water clone. The real Ao released a wave of shuriken at Cole, who switched out with a log. Damn Kawarimi. He mumbled. He activated his Byakugan to find where his opponent was. Only to barely turn around and block a strike from some sort of rod. Cole clicked his tongue and backed off. You're not half bad for a greenhorn, Ao commented. Cole chuckled, maybe because I'm not as green as you thought. Ao scowled at his opponent. He had the strange feeling this was not going to be easy. Hell, he even had a feeling he was going to lose to this guy. He gritted his teeth and decided to fight on. What kind of guy would he be if he pussed out after talking so big earlier? He was going to teach this kid to fear his elders. Well, come on then. Stop holding back on me like a little bitch and come at me. Faster than even his prized Byakugan could track, his masked opponent was on him, landing blow after blow. He tried to bring his guard up, but it was only batted back down. Temple, knee, ribs, liver, shoulder, kidney, stomach, sternum, neck, and jaw all felt like they were being struck at the same time over and over again. After the third wave of strikes, Ao went down. Beaten and broken. He looked at the masked man with swollen and defeated eyes. Well, finish it. Cole looked at the defeated man and said, Don't feel like it. I don't normally kill people who are trying to do the same thing as me. I was telling the truth when I said I was here to help Kiri. But, it seems like I'll just do it on my own. Tell your comrades that they have my support, but to not get in my way. With that he shined away. Kakashi-sensei. I can't do any more. A tired Sakura yelled to Kakashi, who was lazily leaning against a tree reading his Ika. He turned a hooded eye to his student. Sakura, that was only your second lap. You got through the academy, didn't you? You have one more lap, try to catch up. Sakura let out an exasperated sigh as she began to run another lap around the training ground. Naruto was on his fifth lap and didn't look tired at all, especially with the resistance seals on, and Sasuke was right behind him breathing a little hard. Once Naruto and Sasuke finished 10 laps and Sakura finished her 3, they stood in front of their sensei. Alright guys, 50 push-ups and 100 sit-ups. Sakura paled as Naruto and Sasuke began to do the workout without complaint. After they finished their workout, they again stood in front of Kakashi. Okay, that'll be our daily warm-up before we do formation and signal training. Once we have those down, I'll start to train you taijutsu and ninjutsu skills, he said to his 3 students. Sasuke sneered at him. Why don't we just learn jutsu and taijutsu? We don't need formations and signals. We need power. Kakashi sighed, but before he could answer, the blonde of the bunch spoke up. Even if we train up our ninjutsu and taijutsu, we are still kids and genin. We might end up fighting someone we can't beat on our own, and we'll have to handle them as a team. So if we can't do that, then we're screwed. Man, the kid can be smart when he wants to be, Kakashi thought. It's exactly like he says. Teamwork is extremely important for genin. So we're going to train that right now. As they went through their team training, Naruto struck conversation with Kurama. So, how far am I with the level 1 cloak again? I'd say another 3 days of practice and you should be able to handle a single-tailed level 1 cloak. It's not much of a power boost, but the cloak works as a powerful defense, and since my chakra is pretty volatile, it'll burn people on contact. Kurama replied. Naruto just gave a ha in acknowledgement. How do you think Dad is doing? Knowing him, he's probably talking someone into some dumb deal and getting people to do what he wants. Naruto snickered and his teammates looked at him weird but brushed it off when they went through the exercise again. So, you expect me to believe some no-name man just comes out of nowhere, beats up one of my best comrades, and wants us to believe that he is here to help us? You're joking, right? 'Cause it sounds like a joke. Terumi May said to a sweat-dropping Cole. Cole let out a nervous chuckle. Well, I guess it does sound a little far-fetched. May looked at him and said, take off the mask. Cole just responded with, no. May got a tick mark and yelled, just take it off, damn it. No. May growled but stopped trying. Fine, just why do you want to help us anyway? Well, I know who is pulling the strings behind the scenes, and he is not someone you fuck around with. I also have a little grudge with the guy. So, I'm here to take him down. Chapter 25, Oracle's Fight. Well, I know who is pulling the strings behind the scenes, and he is not someone you fuck around with. I also have a little grudge with the guy. So, I'm here to take him down. The sun was going down and the Mizukage was on the move. He was heading into the mist-filled forest outside his village and moving fast. He was of course being controlled to go to a set meeting point. But what he or the one controlling him didn't know was that there was a small spider with 8 little Rinnegan eyes attached to the Kage's clothes. Cole smirked as he followed the puppet Jinchuriki. His spider summons was doing very well on its first use. He created the spider for spying due to the fact that he can link his vision with any of the 8 eyes of the arachnid. Once Yagura stopped moving, Cole also stopped. Okay, show time. He watched from the spider as the air in front of Yagura distorted and an orange mask began to form in front of him. Good work, my little puppet, Toby said as he fully formed. But it seems I no longer have any use for you. Time to harvest the sanbai and all. Toby reached out to Yagura's stomach but was launched from his position by some unknown force. As he flew, he righted himself and skidded on his feet. Well, it seems that I have an uninvited guest. Cole appeared next to Yagura and knocked the Jinchuriki out with a swift chop to the neck. Sorry to interrupt like this, but I can't just let you take poor Isabu like that. He created a clone to take Yagura's body. As soon as the clone turned to leave, Toby tried to dash at the clone, but was stopped by a kunai planting itself by his feet. "Ah, you need to focus on me," Cole teased. "Well, then. If you are in such of a hurry to die, then why don't you introduce yourself?" "You don't look like you are from Kiri," Toby asked, keeping his eye on Cole. Cole chuckled and said, "Where are my manners? I am the oracle of the Rikudu Sennin, seer of the future and speaker of prophecy. I am the oracle and I know a great many things." Toby stiffened when he heard him say Rikudu Sennin. He had a mirage of thoughts go through his head as to who he could be and what he could be able to do. Cole noticed that Toby had stiffened and chuckled. "There is no need to introduce yourself though. I already know who you are and who you serve." Toby shifted in his stance and said, "Then you know too much." Just after saying that, he jumped into the air. "Katan, Gokaki no Jutsu." Cole went through the same set of hand signs, Katan, Gokaki no Jutsu. The two fireballs collided and canceled each other. Before the smoke cleared, Toby launched himself through the smoke to engage Oracle and Taijutsu. Cole readied himself into his Muay Thai stance and began to avoid attacks. Even one attack from Toby could kill him if he wasn't careful. He got close to embedding his hand in his stomach, but before Toby's strike could connect, he was sent back by the same unknown force. This time, however, he wasn't able to right himself and skidded across the ground till he hit a tree. As he was getting up, Cole pointed his hand at him. "Ashura Path, Chakra Shotgun." With that, his fingers all became chakra cannons and unleashed a volley of chakra blasts at the other masked man. Just before the blasts hit, Toby teleported behind the oracle. He sunk his arm through the man's chest and held his heart in his hand. You." Cole turned his head to the man behind him. "Not quite." Boom. With that said, Cole exploded. The explosion was so powerful it knocked a little over a dozen trees over. Cole walked back into the clearing just as Toby reformed from the air. "Who are you really?" Toby asked. No one he knew of would be able to pull off any of those moves. Other than Nagato, and he had him in his back pocket already. Cole just chuckled, "Just someone who knows what you look like behind that mask. Why don't we both take our masks off and have a little party?" Toby just growled and charged him again. However, this time Cole already had a plan in action. Boom! Cole exploded again just before Toby got to him. Toby was forced to reform again, but this time Cole was ready for this. Kuchios no Jutsu. Summoning technique, Manticore. Toby was in the middle of reforming when he heard a guttural roar. He completely froze. Damn it, how could I get caught in a Jinjutsu? Kai! Right as he released himself from the jutsu, he took a spike to his right shoulder. Ag! He yelled in pain. He finished forming and pulled the spike free. He continued to bleed till his arm healed. He looked to where it came from and saw a massive lion with a spiked tail. But what caught his eye was the fact the animal had the Rinnegan. He looked for a second more before he heard something coming at him. Toby didn't have time to reach as a massive blade cleaved his right arm and leg off. Ahog! He yelled in pain again. You shouldn't take your eyes off me for even a second. Uchiha Bito! Toby panicked as he frantically looked around for his opponent. You lost this fight as soon as you took your eyes off me. He heard the same noise again but reacted this time. The massive blade harmlessly passed through him. He used his one good leg to get some distance. You'll regret interfering with me, Oracle. I'll meet you again, and when I do you will die. Abito said as he disappeared. Damn, he got away. Cole said. He dispelled his summons. He turned to the direction his clone went off to but stopped wide-eyed. "Shit!" he yelled as the memories of his clone came back. He heard a loud roar and took to the trees. He needed to hurry. Kirigakure was in a mountain of trouble. And that mountain was in the shape of the Sanbai, Isabu. Chapter 26, Isabu vs. Oracle. "Damn, he got away," Cole said. He dispelled his summons. He turned to the direction his clone went off to but stopped wide-eyed. "Shit!" he yelled as the memories of his clone came back. He heard a loud roar and took to the trees. He needed to hurry. Kirigakure was in a mountain of trouble. And that mountain was in the shape of the Sanbai, Isabu. Shit. 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 How in the fuck did he get out? Cole yelled to himself as he rushed to where the Sanbai was laying waste to Kiri. "Oracle!" A feminine voice called. "What in the hell happened?" Cole turned his head to see a furious Terumi May followed by a bandaged Ao. Cole sighed and replied, "Obviously the Sanbai escaped from Yagura. I have no idea how, but it happened. We need to stop it before the entire village gets destroyed." May nodded. "And how do we do that?" she asked. Cole looked over their options. He didn't like any of them. Most of them involved fighting the Sanbai, sealing it, or somehow for him to get Isabu to calm down. None of them were easy. "Ao, you're still injured, work on getting people out of the area and back me up from afar when you've cleared the area." Ao would have argued but May cut him off, "Just do it, Ao." He nodded and rushed to the village. She turned to Cole, "Anything for me to do?" Cole nodded. "Yeah, back me up. We're gonna have to take the Sanbai down somehow." May sighed and said, "Lead the way." The village was in an uproar. People were just enjoying their day when all of a sudden a three-tailed demon pops up out of nowhere and starts crushing everything in its path. Mass panic ensued. Civilians running. Ninja futilely attacking the beast. People dying from attacks the beast let out. One ninja was about to be crushed by a falling building but was pushed out of the way. "Look alive, kid. Start getting people out of the area and tell any shinobi jin in rank or lower to assist in evacuation." Ao yelled to the blue-haired teen. "Why yes, sir," a frightened Chojiro said as he turned to leave. "Damn kid. What kind of ninja gets scared of his superiors?" Ao mumbled to himself. "Raiden, Raimi!" Lightning release, thunderclap, Cole shouted as he brought down a lighting-enhanced Teki no Hocho onto Isabu's head. The lightning flowed through the sword into the beast and forced explosion. Isabu roared in pain and frustration. "How'd you like that, huh?" Cole mocked the demon. "Come on, you stupid turtle, follow me." The demon turned to Cole and started to come after him. One of its tails came down at him and just before it made contact it was shot back into the air. "How'd you like that?" Cole yelled. "Here, have a taste of this." He connected a chain that came out from his arm to his blade. He twirled the blade above his head at great speeds. After a moment the air around Cole began to pick up and water began to form around his blade. Ninpu! Teki Hocho no Hurricane! Hurricane of the Foe Cleaver, Cole lashed his blade out at the demon over and over again. Water chakra on the chain to control its movement and wind chakra on the blade to make have even more cutting power. Hit after hit knocked the demon back further out of the village. Large cuts on its shell formed and the demon yelled in pain and fury. Cole only stopped his assault once they were out of the village. Cole was breathing had little chakra left. "Had enough?" he asked the beast. Its one open eye was filled with rage and it shot a powerful blast of water at its foe. Cole smirked, "Thanks for the boost." He absorbed the attack and got a little bit of a chakra boost from it. "Now, how about round 2? May was staring wide-eyed at the entire battle. Here was that random man who showed up out of nowhere, offering help, taking on a bijou by himself, and pushing it back. The man had barely taken any damage but was successfully pushing a demon out of a village. She didn't even know what she could do to assist at this point. She just chose to watch and see if the man could continue to hold his own. "Come on, Isabu! Is that all?" Cole roared at the demon. Isabu roared back and began to form a bijou dama. "Oh no you don't. Shinra Tensei." Before the bomb could complete itself, it was forced into the demon's face and exploded. The mountainous beast was sent flying back further into the mist-covered forest. It lay on its back stunned and injured. "Now's my chance," Cole said to himself as he jumped onto the beast. He placed a hand onto the beast and closed his eyes. His mind went blank. When he opened his eyes, he was in Yagura's mindscape. Yagura lay on the floor not moving, and Isabu sat behind him bound by a giant purple chain. "Well, looks like you were able to make your way here," Isabu said with a sad tone. "Tell me, why do you have father's power?" "Hagoromo gave me his powers. I am his oracle, and I'm here to make sure the ones have been using you do not go through with their plans," Cole responded. He was worried by the chain around Isabu. It looked too similar to the one that was around the Yonbi, Sandoku. Isabu looked down and sighed. "I am sorry, but it is already too late for me. As you can see, that man already has me in his trap." Isabu raised his head and looked at Yagura. "But it isn't too late to save Yagura boy. He is young and doesn't deserve to die with his village hating him." "Then how do I save him?" Cole asked. He already had an idea but needed confirmation. "Take out the chakra receivers and I should be returned to where my main body is." Cole nodded. "I am sorry I am too late, Isabu. I had promised Kurama to bring you all together again. I will make them pay for what they have done to you and Yagura. I promise." Before Abosu could respond, Cole left the mindscape and was faced with a raging Sanbai once again. Cole jumped from Isabu's stomach to avoid an attack from its tail. He stood at the top of a tree and stared down the raging bijou. He used his Rinnegan to look for the receivers but couldn't find them. "Damn it, I need something else to find them, Ao. I need his Byakugan." Cole made a clone to go get Ao, and the real him continued his fight with the Sanbai. "Shinra Tensei." He pushed back the three tails that were coming straight for him. "Well, big guy, looks like I'm gonna need to even the playing field. You're just too big for little old me to fight. So how do you like this? Kichio's no Jutsu. Orakuru no Rokuju." 6 beasts of the oracle. Cole went through the needed hand signs and slammed both his palms onto the ground. A massive smoke cloud covered him and the area surrounding him. Chapter 27, 6 Beasts of the Oracle. Cole made a clone to go get Ao, and the real him continued his fight with the Sanbai. "Shinra Tensei." He pushed back the 3 tails that were coming straight for him. "Well, big guy, looks like I'm gonna need to even the playing field. You're just too big for little old me to fight. So how do you like this? Kichio's no Jutsu. Orakuru no Rokuju." 6 beasts of the oracle. Cole went through the needed hand signs and slammed both his palms onto the ground. A massive smoke cloud covered him and the area surrounding him. Konoha. This is Whiskers. Target is in position. Good Whiskers. Pinky, Brood, are you in position? This is Pinky. In position. This is Brood, in position. Good. Whiskers, advance on the target. Roger. Miou. Ah. Sit still, you son of a bitch. In the Hokage's office, a severely scratched Naruto stood holding a pissed-off cat at arm's length. He was staring the cat down while Kakashi and the rest of his team gave their report to the Chunin manning the mission table. And that's about it. Kakashi finished. The Chunin was about to dismiss the Genin team when a very large woman barged into the room. My poor baby. It's so good to have you back, Tora Chann. As the woman said this, she snatched the cat from Naruto's hands and squeezed relentlessly hard on it. She gave a quick thanks to the ninja in the room and left. Naruto had a grin from ear to ear and he mumbled something about stupid cats and karma is a. Kakashi sighed and looked at the time. He turned back to the Chunin and said, "You know, I think my team might be ready for a C rank mission. Do you have any low C ranks for tomorrow?" The three Genin in Kakashi's command all perked their ears up at this. The Chunin nodded and handed him a mission scroll. "It's just a simple one. Some bandits have been causing trouble near the border Iron Country." Kakashi nodded and took the scroll. "Alright team, I want you to head home and prep for a C rank mission. I advise you bring some winter gear and enough gear for about a week." His team quickly nodded and rushed out the door. Iruka looked worried at Kakashi. "Are you sure they're ready for a C rank, Kakashi? They only made Genin 3 weeks ago." Kakashi looked at the teacher. "To be honest, I think Sasuke and Sakura could use a little more time to train. But with Naruto with them, he's get them through whatever may come at them." Kakashi responded. Iruka still didn't look convinced. He knew that Naruto was strong for his age, but he also wasn't the brightest of the batch. Kakashi gave him his signature eye smile. "Don't worry so much, Iruka. Naruto has really improved since he graduated," after saying that he left in a swirl of leaves. Naruto rushed into his house and went into the estate armory to start getting his stuff ready. Once he had everything organized in a few sealing scroll, he rushed to his room to pack his clothes. He accidentally bumped into Anko on his way out of the armory. "Ow! Hey Squirt, were you headed in such a hurry?" "Oh, sorry Mom. We just got our first C rank mission," Naruto said as he continued to his room. Anko paled a bit. She knew that Sanaru warned her about if Naruto ever got a certain C rank. What's it about?" she asked nervously. Naruto just quickly responded, "Bandits near Iron Country." Anko internally sighed in relief. She was not ready to let her son go off on a potential A-rank mission against a psycho swordsman without Sanaru there to make sure things didn't go wrong. Naruto came out of his room. He sat down in the living room and looked at his mother. "Hey, when was Dad supposed to be back?" Anko hummed and said, "In about a week, I think. Kirigakure. Kichio's no jutsu. Orakuru no rokuju." Cole roared as he slammed his palms onto the ground. A massive smoke cloud twice as large as the demon he was facing popped into the area. Smoke slowly disappeared. As it did so, one by one massive beasts became visible. Manticore. A lion 5 times the size of a normal lion appeared. Behemoth. Manticore, while being very large, was on top of an even larger beast that was about the same size as the Sanbai. It was a massive lion-like creature with 2 large horns coming from its forehead. The 2 horns seemed to give off a slight electrical pulse. Rock! Next to Behemoth stood a giant eagle that was half the size of the beast. Leviathan. From the ground next to Rock came a large body of water. It began to form a shape of a serpent, and once it finished forming, it formed a large Rinnegan eye on its forehead. Basilisk. Next to Leviathan stood another serpent-like creature. But this one was the same size as Behemoth and had 2 large arms. Garo. Next to the basilisk stood a wolf of equal size. But this wolf was made nearly completely of metal. Heat radiated from the beast and its tail was made of fire. The only trait that seemed to be flesh was its Rinnegan eyes. Cole sat on the back of the manticore and raised his hand towards the demon. Hunt. Rock took to the skies and Leviathan sunk back into the ground. Basilisk rushed the demon and Behemoth began to charge lightning in its horns. Garo ran to circle around Isabu as fire began to pour into its mouth. Basilisk was much too fast for the demon to catch and quickly wrapped itself around the demon. Once Basilisk had the demon in its grasp, his skin turned into a stone-like substance and continued to squeeze. Once Basilisk caught its target, Behemoth let loose a massive bolt of lightning from its horns. It struck Isabu directly and the demon roared in pain. Basilisk, however, didn't feel a thing. While Behemoth continued to shock the Bijou, Garo let loose a massive ball of flame at it. Rock decided to improve the attack by adding a gust of wind to the flame to make it even stronger. Isabu, who had taken an already large beating from Cole, now was completely engulfed in lightning-enhanced flame. After a few moments the flames subsided and the demon was unconscious. On top of the manticore, Cole looked to his left-right as Ao and Cole's clone showed up. "Your clone said you needed me, but it seems your summons have taken care of things," Ao said as he stared at the unconscious demon, completely overwhelmed by the power of the 6 summons. "Not quite. If we want to put the standby away for good, I need you to pinpoint these black rods on it," Cole said as he produced a chakra receiving rod to show Ao. He nodded and activated his Byakugan. "There! On its chest. There is only one of the rods on it." Cole nodded and said, "All right. Leviathan, finish this off." Out of the ground a whip of water formed and snatched the rod out of Isabu and the demon. As soon as the chakra receiver was removed, purple chains formed around Isabu and the Getomazo appeared behind it. The chains forced the demon into the statue and it disappeared. "Haha, we did dash." Cole's victory was cut short when he felt the chakra exhaustion catch up with him. Shit, was the last thing he said as he fell unconscious. Chapter 28, C Rank. Cole nodded and said, "All right. Leviathan, finish this off." Out of the ground a whip of water formed and snatched the rod out of Isabu. As soon as the chakra receiver was removed, purple chains formed around Isabu and the Getomazo appeared behind it. The chains forced the demon into the statue and it disappeared. "Haha, we did dash." Cole's victory was cut short when he felt the chakra exhaustion catch up with him. Shit, was the last thing he said as he fell unconscious. Konoha. At the front gates of Konoha, 3 Jonin were eagerly waiting for their Jonin sensei. Naruto led it against the gate reading a book on Fuinjutsu while Sakura paced angrily mumbling death threats about Kakashi. Sasuke was just doing his normal thing and looking off into the distance, plotting all the different ways he could kill Itachi. After a while Sakura's pacing got on Naruto's nerves. "Haven't you learned yet that Kakashi-Nizen is always late? Why do you still get angry?" he asked in an annoyed tone. Sakura stopped pacing to sneer at Naruto for yelling at her. She honestly didn't have anything against him. It was just he just had this way of getting under her skin, and the fact that her Sasuke-kun seemed to not like him very much. She continued to glare at him and was about to yell something when their sensei showed up in a swirl of leaves. "You're late," Sakura screeched. Kakashi chuckled sheepishly and Naruto just sighed. Sasuke continued to brood. "Well, you see, I got lost on the way and ran into a little old lady who needed help crossing several streets and dash." "Liar!" Sakura interrupted. Kakashi just brushed her off and started checking over their gear, inspecting them on how they packed for their first out-of-village mission. While he was checking Sakura's things, Naruto just sadly looked at his sensei and older brother figure. About a week ago he had gotten curious as to why his sensei was always late to everything and decided to tail him. He found out that Kakashi spent more than what could be considered a healthy amount of time in front of the hero's monument. For an hour Kakashi just stared at the stone, softly mumbling to himself. That night Naruto went to his mother and asked why Kakashi spent so much time in front of the monument. She said it wasn't really her place to say this, but she eventually explained Kakashi's past and what happened to his team. Naruto was broken out of his daydream when Kakashi asked his to show his gear. Sasuke and Sakura had noticed that Naruto didn't have a backpack with him and were curious as to why. They also noticed that underneath his trench coat that he had on several belts that each held a few scrolls. Naruto took a scroll from each belt and unrolled them for Kakashi to inspect. In this scroll I have a month's supply of food, and in this one is completely filled with water. I have 2 scrolls for kunai and shuriken, so about 200 each, and 1 scroll with a 2-person tent and standard survival equipment. And finally, I have an assortment of seals placed on my body and clothes to store other weapons and items. I also have 6 empty scrolls to use for storage in case I come across anything of interest. Kakashi let out an impressed huh. Alright, a little on the over-prepared side, but all in all, that's a pretty good stock of equipment. You two could learn a thing or two from this, he said to the other 2 genin. Also, when we get back, Naruto, I want you to give these 2 a book on Fuinjutsu basics so they can learn how to use storage seal. Hi, sensei. Alright team, let's move out. The Land of Iron is about a 2-day trip, so let's be quick about it. The first day of travel went by quietly. Literally. No more was said between the group of genin than what was needed. Sakura didn't even try to constantly beg the Uchiha for affection. There was a sense of tension in Naruto's 2 other teammates. Maybe it was because it was their first time out of the village, of the fact that they were nervous that they would be fighting in their first life or death fight tomorrow. Naruto didn't know, nor did he care. He was just happy for the peace and quiet so he could continue reading his book on Fuinjutsu. Well, it wasn't so much a book as it was notes. It was his birth father's notes on the oration. Now, Naruto wasn't stupid. He didn't bring the actual notes with him. He transferred the notes into a book and placed a seal on it. Now, the only way you could read the contents of the book was for Naruto to pump his specific chakra into the seal, much like Kabuto's ninja info cards. They decided to stop for the night and switch to their winter gear for the next day. Even at the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Iron, the temperature was below freezing all year round. The Land of Iron was known for 3 things. Its famous samurai, its abundant amount of chakra iron, and for its year-round winters. Naruto now wore basically the same outfit, but his trench coat was now white and had a brown fur lining with a hood and sleeves. He used chakra to keep the rest of himself warm while his 2 teammates needed to bundle up a little more. Sakura wore a pink coat and white snow boots, and Sasuke and Kakashi wore the standard shinobi winter attire of a cloak and normal clothes underneath. Alright team, from here on we're nearing hostile territory, Kakashi said. The bandit camp is supposed to be near the border and they have been terrorizing a nearby town. Our job is to dispose of the bandits by any means necessary. Even if they cross the border, we have permission to pursue. This mission won't be complete until we have taken every bandit into custody or until they are all dead. It's your call if you want to take them alive or dead. It's also allowed to take whatever spoils of war you find. You ready? His 3 genin nodded and they made off for their target. In a snow-covered forested area, 2 men stood outside a campsite. Hey, it's time to switch shifts, a hefty-looking man said. Ah, alright. Man, my legs are killing me, said a tall and lanky man. I can't believe we got stuck with watching the damn camp while everybody else got to go have fun in that village. The larger male scoffed. Well, we just gotta get good at poker then, right? Heh, I guess you're right. When's boss supposed to get back anyway? I think in an hour or so. Aw, that's good. Why? 'Cause we gotta take him down, that's why. What do you mean? The hefty man was cut off when the lanky one punched him in the gut hard enough to knock him out. It means, we have a job to do, Kakashi said as he dropped his hinge. He checked over the radio and said, this is Mask. You guys get that? We have an hour before things get hairy. Whiskers, set some seals to let us know if anyone is close. Brood and Pinky start setting some traps and search the place for any information on this Basta. 3 voices came over the radio at the same time. Hi, Sensei. About 40 minutes passed before Naruto felt someone cross over his seals. He reached for his radio. This is Whiskers. Showtime. About 40 of them. But, Sensei. I'm getting some pretty high chakra levels from 3 of them. Kakashi heard this and got a serious look. It wasn't that uncommon for a Rouge ninja or 2 to start a bandit gang or join one. But for Naruto to admit their chakra levels were high was worrying. This is Mask. Good work, Whiskers. Brood, Pinky, I want you to stay hidden and wait till the traps are set off before engaging the targets. Whiskers, I want you to assist me in handling the 3 high signatures. The 3 gave a chorus of Hiya Sensei. And a few seconds later Naruto was next to Kakashi. So, he asked. How high we talking? 2 have Chunin level chakra while 1 has a little less than you do, Kakashi Nizan. Naruto replied, not taking his eyes off of where the traps were in the camp. Kakashi thought for a moment. Okay, he started. I want you to handle the 2 Chunin level ones. Also, I want you to make about 50 clones to help Sasuke and Sakura after the traps go off. Lead the 2 away from the rest and handle them. I'll take the better of the 3. Naruto nodded and they waited for the strike to engage their targets. On their way back, the twins, Doken and Kirigaku, were conversing about the raid they just went on. They both wore samurai-like armor that was red and had fresh blood covering parts of it. They also wielded 2 swords each. Chapter 29, Mission Complete. Shit! Jinji said. Fucking shinobi! Doken! Kirigaku. Let's show them what the Ronin brothers can do. Yeah, both of the twins replied. They started to head to the battle when they were cut up by a tall man with one eye covered and a short kid in a trench coat. The taller of the 2 said, sorry, but we'll be your opponents. Jinji sneered at the 2 shinobi in front of him. Doken. Kirigaku. Take the boy. The tall one's mine, he said in a serious tone. He brandished his naginata and leveled the blade end at Kakashi. Come, shinobi scum. Doken and Kirigaku smiled evilly at Naruto. Come on, kid, why don't you run on home to mommy, Doken taunted. Kirigaku chuckled darkly, or you could stay. I don't mind killing kids. The twins were hopping to geode the boy into attacking. Naruto just stood his ground with a calm expression. He got into a ready stance and summoned one of his swords. Enough talk. Doken smirked. Do you even know how to use that toothpick, kid? How about I show you how to use a sword? Kirigaku, the brat's mine. Kirigaku nodded and let his brother rush the blonde youth. Naruto kept his calm expression and engaged his single foe. Doken was using both his blades while Naruto only used one. Over a few failed attempts to get the boy's guard down and finish the fight fast, Doken became annoyed. Heh, looks like you're a bad kid, but it's time to take the kitty gloves off. Doken rushed in faster this time. He continuously attacked the blonde. He brought one sword down for an overhead swing and the second in an upward slash. Naruto blocked the first sword with his own, and to Doken's surprise he caught the second sword with the oddly shaped kunai he summoned from his wrist. What the dash, Doken exclaimed before he was kicked in the chest and sent flying. He was able to land on his feet and he jumped back to his brother. Little fucker's better than I thought. Looks like I'll need your help, bro. Kirigaku snorted. Ah, come on. You couldn't kill a kid? Fine, let's get this little fuck. This time they both came at Naruto, who still hadn't moved. They brought their swords together for a combined slash but missed their target when he jumped over them and launched kunai at both of them. Kirigaku used his second sword to block one while Doken just moved his head and dodged the knife. My turn, Naruto said. He sealed his sword away and threw another kunai they the two. He went through a few hand signs and yelled, "Kunai Cage Bunshin no Jutsu." Kunai Shadow Clones, one kunai became 20 and maintained speed towards the brothers. None of the kunai hit their targets as the brothers used their swords to expertly block all of the blades. "Come on kid, you'll need to do better than that," Dokkan taunted. Naruto just went through more hand signs and took a deep breath. Futon, de Tapa. Wind release, great breakthrough, a powerful gust of wind came from the blonde and the two brothers were forced to anchor themselves. The wind kicked up some snow that acted like a smoke screen and also kicked up some of the fallen kunai and launched them at the brothers. Kirigaku was able to block the incoming knives through the minimal visibility, but Dokkan took a kunai in the neck. "Garg!" he yelled in pain and surprise. He fell to his knees as blood poured from his neck. "Brother!" Kirigaku yelled. "I fucking kill you, you little shit!" he yelled as he rushed the boy. Naruto quickly summoned his sword to block the quick attacks. After the first couple of strikes, he noticed the blade was getting sharpened and was hitting with more force. "Heh, you like that, kid? We samurai can channel chakra into our blade to change the cutting power and make them extra deadly." Naruto didn't respond as he began to channel wind chakra into his sword. After they traded a few more blows, Naruto channeled a little more chakra into his blade, which caused one of Kirigaku's to snap. "What in the hell?" he yelled as he jumped back to gain distance. He now stood next to his dying brother and looked between him and Naruto. "Aw, fuck this. I ain't dying like this to some kid," he yelled as he turned to run away. But before he could even take a second step, Naruto called out another jutsu. "Ninpu, Cage Bunshin Tetsu Otome Gi. Ninja Art, Shadow Clone Iron Maiden." Before Kirigaku could react, all of the fallen kunai around him popped into clones of the blonde boy. Every one of them had a sword aimed at him. And they impaled him. Each blade a killing blow. Neck, heart, liver, kidney, backbone, brain. Kirigaku was dead. Over with Kakashi, Jinji wasn't anything special. After some fighting, Kakashi surprised him with a Rai-Bunshin, lightning clone, and killed him. Well, that wasn't very interesting," he said with a disappointed tone. He looked over to Naruto and noticed that he was done with his opponents. He then turned to Sasuke and Sakura and saw that they had taken down all the bandits. "Alright, good job team. Gather any spoils you want and let's head out." His team decided to not take anything and just left. Kakashi took another look at his students. They may be ninja, but this their first time killing. Sasuke looked a little pale but seemed alright. Sakura was shaking slightly and looked on the verge of tears. Kakashi signed and went over to console them. "Hey guys, good job." "Sakura, Sasuke, I know this was your first time killing, but listen, you're ninja now, this will become a common occurrence. You'll learn to get used to it, but don't think for a second that feeling bad about killing someone is a bad thing. We may be ninja, but we're still human." They two of them seemed to lighten up at his mood. Sasuke looked at Naruto. The blonde looked perfectly fine. He then looked at his opponents and nearly hurled. He saw how Naruto beat Kirigaku and what was left of his mangled corpse. "Dobe, how are you still calm after all this?" he asked in pure shock. Naruto looked him in the eye. Sasuke saw a sadness in his eyes he had never seen before. "I don't like doing it, but it wasn't my first kill," Naruto said quietly. He turned away and started walking with Kakashi. "Wasn't his first kill? When the hell did he kill someone? We haven't done any missions other than those chores of D ranks," Sasuke thought. He continued to eye Naruto but didn't ask. If he wanted them to know about it, then he would have told them. Sakura, on the other hand, was a bit more blunt. "When would you have killed?" Naruto sighed. It isn't something I like to talk about." "Okay? This time she caught onto his tone and shut up. She had never heard Naruto without a cheerful tone, and the fact he was sad shocked her. Kakashi intervened before it got any more awkward. "Alright guys, let's move." He then went into a run and his Genin team followed. The rest of the trip was quiet. Once they got back to Konoha, they reported to the Hokage Tower. Apparently the Ronin Borthers had a B rank bounty on their heads and Naruto and Kakashi were paid for their deaths. After the debriefing of the mission, it was bumped from a C rank to a B rank due to the appearance of the brothers. Once they finished, they were excused and Naruto headed home. He opened his front door and said, "I'm back." A familiar voice responded, "Hey kid, took you long enough, I brought souvenirs." "Dad!" Naruto yelled as he rushed to his father. Chapter 30, Yuzushio Vicure. Once they finished, they were excused and Naruto headed home. He opened his front door and said, "I'm back." A familiar voice responded, "Hey kid, took you long enough, I brought souvenirs." "Dad!" Naruto yelled as he rushed to his father. Naruto came at his father into a rushing tackle. Cole caught his son in a hug. "Sup, Squirt? Heard you had your first C rank while I was gone. How was it?" Naruto let go of his father and told him all about the mission. About how he set traps for the bandits and how he fought the Ronin twins. He started to look down at the memory of him having to kill, but he brushed that off. "So, are you allowed to tell me how your mission went?" he asked his father. "Yeah, I can tell you, but I'd rather have your mother here so I don't have to tell it twice." Cole responded with a smile. Naruto pouted but let it go. Cole looked at his son and asked, "So, how's the Hiraishi coming?" It had been a little over a month since Cole learned that Naruto developed a Hiraishin variant and was trying to reverse engineer the jutsu through his own version. Naruto scratched the back of his head and sheepishly replied, "It's slow, it's a lot like the storage Hiraishin, but minus the middleman of the pocket dimension. And instead of transporting chakra, I have to teleport myself or other physical objects." He pulled out his notes and showed his adoptive father. "I found Minato's notes on it in the armory hidden behind a special seal that hid itself from anyone without his blood. But now that I have it, I hardly know what to make of it. This damn thing is so complex that even with all I already know about Fuinjutsu I have no idea what half of it says." Cole nodded. "Well, even Jiraiya of the Sannin couldn't learn the jutsu, and he's a seal master like myself. I could help you as much as I can, but until you get to the level of a seal master you won't be able to complete it." Naruto looked down and had a shroud of sadness around him. Cole chuckled and patted his son's shoulder. "Don't let it get you down. It's just extremely difficult jutsu. You'll get it down soon enough. The fact you made a variant of it by just looking at the kunai with the trigger seal on it is amazing." Naruto looked up a bit and chuckled. "I guess it is, isn't it?" Cole smirked at his son and was about to say something when he was tackled by another figure in a brown trench coat. "What happened? What happened? What happened? Tell me, tell me, tell me," Anko said as she shook Cole on the ground. "Stop! Stop! I'll tell you, I'll tell you," Cole begged. Anko stopped and stood up over him with a broad smile. Cole slowly stood up and went back to sit on the couch. Flashback. "Haha, we did dash." Cole's victory was cut short when he felt the chakra exhaustion catch up with him. Shit," was the last thing he said as he fell unconscious. All of the 6 beasts dispelled except for the manticore. Ao reached to catch Cole before he fell but was stopped when the manticore caught him. It growled at Ao before running off into the forest. About 2 hours passed before Cole woke back up. Ugh. Okay, I officially hate chakra exhaustion. He looked to see the manticore still carrying him through the forest. "Heh, thanks buddy. I think I can walk for myself now." The beast complied by stopping and gently letting its master down. "I'll need you to stick around though. I still don't have the chakra or stability to fight yet," he said to his summons. The manticore simply nodded and let its master lean on it as they walked through the forest. About another hour passed and they came to the end of the forest and to the shore of the island that made up the land of water. "Okay, gonna need to make camo here," Cole mumbled to himself. The next day Cole had recovered from his minor chakra exhaustion and let the manticore dispel itself. After eating his breakfast he took to the skies and made his way for Yazushio. After an hour of flying he saw the island and landed on the northern shore. "Okay, let's see what we can find." End of flashback. And that's about it. Cole finished his story. Anko had to shake her head to get over her amazement. "I knew I could pick him. Defeating Bijou and all." She leaned over to her husband and snuggled up to him. Naruto got an annoyed look on his face. "Can you guys at least wait until I'm asleep before you start, whatever it is you're about to do?" Cole blushed heavily. He looked down to Anko, only to see the mischievous grin on her face. He could almost hear her thoughts. "You haven't been around for a month, oh the things that'll happen." Cole gulped and looked away from his grinning wife. Naruto shuddered and then had a glossed-over look to his eyes. "Hey Dad, Kurama wants to know why you were fighting Isabu in the first place," he said. Cole sighed and got a sad look on his face. He was under that man's control. "I got there too late to stop him. I was able to drive him off and seriously wound him, but I don't think it'll hold him for long. When Isabu escaped from Yagura, he had already been partially taken by the Gedomazo. When I defeated him he was sent back into that infernal statue." "What is the Gedomazo?" Naruto and Anko asked at the same time. "The Gedomazo is a statue that any Rinnegan bearer can summon, other than myself. It is used to store the Bijou's chakra until all 9 are collected," Cole explained. "Why would they want to dash?" Naruto started to explain but was cut off by his tenant. "The Jubii, kid. Once me and my siblings are captured the statue would turn into the Jubii, the 10-tailed demon. The being my father spent his entire life trying to defeat. He eventually succeeded in its defeat. He sealed its body in the moon and split its chakra into 9 beings. The 9 Bijou." Naruto nodded and went to tell what he heard from Kurama but stopped when he caught a look from his father. "Don't tell," it appeared to say. "What do they want with the Bijou?" Anko asked. Cole shook his head and lied through his teeth. "I don't know. Maybe they hope to make a weapon out of their chakra, but right now, I don't know." Anko pouted. She knew he was lying. She had been with him for 12 years now and could read him like a book. But she knew he wouldn't lie without reason, so she dropped it. "So, on to the fun part," Cole said with a smile. He brought out a scroll and unrolled it. He channeled chakra into the 2 seals on it and 2 objects appeared. The first was a pair of gauntlets that had pointed finger-like claws. "These are for you, Anko-chan. I found them in Yuzu when I made a stop there. They are made of chakra iron so you can channel chakra through them, as well as put poisons in the tips of the fingers." Anko squealed and greedily took the gauntlets and gave a heavy kiss to Cole's cheek. "This just won you a little prize for later." She purred into his ear, quiet so Naruto couldn't hear. After Cole got his blush and slight nosebleed under control, he handed the second item to Naruto. It was a ninjato. The sheath was pure white and so was the handle, but once Naruto drew it to view the blade, it was a dark red and seemed to glow slightly. "Whoa!" was all Naruto could say. "Where did you find this?" Kurama breathed. Cole smirked and chuckled. "That is the Kitsune no Kiba, the fawn of the fox. I also found this in a hidden vault in Yuzu. And if my guess is right, it reacts to Kurama's chakra. Since I couldn't even unsheath the blade. Kurama says this was made over 100 years ago. They used pieces from one of his fangs and some of his fur to make the blade. It just radiates his chakra." This is amazing, Naruto said in amazement. He could see the chakra starting to coil off from the blade. It seemed the blade made its own chakra and never ran out. That's Dad, you're the best, he said as he put the blade back into its scabbard and hugged his father. Cole chuckled. Why don't I get dinner started? I bet you two didn't have a decent meal since I left. His answer came from two growling stomachs. He shook his head and mumbled, What would you two do without me? Chapter 31, Wave. Cole chuckled. Why don't I get dinner started? I bet you two didn't have a decent meal since I left. His answer came from two growling stomachs. He shook his head and mumbled, What would you two do without me? Hokage Tower. Kurenai-sensei. Kiba begged. We can't do another D rank. I think I'm going crazy. The red-eyed Jonin just gave an unamused look to the feral boy. Kiba, you have only been a Genin for a little over a month, you aren't ready for any higher rank missions. Kiba narrowed his eyes and growled, but the Dobe and the Emo were? Kurenai flinched a bit. Kiba, those two are dash. Kurenai-sensei, if I may, Shino interrupted. I believe that our team is ready for a C rank mission. Why? Because we have finished well over the minimum number of required D rank missions, as well as our teamwork is nearly flawless. Hinata nodded and said, I agree with Shino-kun, Kurenai-sensei. If Naruto-kun's team was ready for a C rank mission, then I believe our team is ready as well. Kurenai sighed. She couldn't argue with that. She was surprised by Hinata though. Usually the girl never talked to anyone unless talked to first. Fine, I'll see what we can get. She walked up to the mission's desk. Do you have any low C ranks? The Chunin looked around at the scrolls he had on hand. After a moment he said, I don't have any here, but I think Hokage-sama has one set aside for a Genin team to take. Go see him and request for the mission to wave. Kurenai nodded and thanked the man. She turned to her team. Wait here, I need to go talk to Hokage-sama about the mission. With that she left the room and walked to the Hokage office. She was about to walk in when his secretary stopped her. Sorry Yui-san, but Hokage-sama is in a meeting with Uzumaki-sama at the moment. Oh, well. Okay, I guess I can wait out here, she said. But then a voice came through the door. Let her in, Nico-san. The secretary sighed. Well, you heard him, go on in. Then she mumbled something about old men and their hearing. I heard that, Hiruzen said through the door. Kurenai chuckled slightly when she saw the secretary pale a bit. She walked through the door and instantly saw the extremely tall man standing in front of the Hokage's desk. She had met him before many times due to her being best friends with Anko, but the guy's height never ceased to amaze her. She smiled and said, Hello Uzumaki-sama, and welcome back. I hope you and Anko-chan are doing well? Cole smiled back at Kurenai. It's good to see you again, Kurenai. And yes, me and Anko-chan are doing quite well. He finished with a slight blush that made Kurenai giggle. Hiruzen cleared his throat to get their attention. He gave his trademark grandfatherly smile. Now Yui-san, what can I do you for? The Chunin at the mission desk said that you had a C-rank mission held onto for a new Genin team to take? The one to wave, Kurenai said, taking a serious tone. Cole and Hiruzen tensed a bit. The only reason why Hiruzen was holding on to the mission was because of the warnings Oracle had given him about it. He didn't go into detail, but he said it would be too dangerous for any normal Genin teams. Are you sure your team is ready for a C-rank mission, Yui-san? Hiruzen asked, reining in his tension so it didn't leak into his words. Kurenai shrugged and said, Honestly Hokage-sama, I don't. But I also feel like their skills are both being wasted and not improved by normal D ranks. Hiruzen scratched his chin in contemplation. He honestly didn't want to give this mission out to anyone other than a team of Jonin or Chunin, but Oracle warned him that a Jinin team must be the one to take the mission. After a few more seconds, the one who warned him spoke up. Hokage-sama, if I may, I might have a solution for this. The next day Team 8 was waiting for their sensei at the main gates to the village. Kiba was sitting cross-legged and his right leg was shaking. He growled and said, "Where the hell is Kurenai-sensei? She's never late." "Kiba, Kurenai-sensei probably has a good reason to be late," Shino said. Hinata nodded and agreed with her teammate. Another 5 minutes passed before their sensei showed up. "Sorry, I got a little caught up with our client here," she said with a little ice in her words. Their client, who was an older-looking man with a bottle of sake in his hand, said, "Ah, come on Hick, it was a compliment." Kurenai just narrowed her eyes at the old man. She sighed and turned her attention to her team. "Okay, this is Tazuna. Our mission is to escort him home to Wave Country and protect him as he finishes building his bridge. I expect the best protection out you brats, even if it costs you your lives," Tazuna said, instantly sober. Kurenai shook her head and continued. "We aren't alone, by the way. Team 7 is joining us on this mission." Kiba jumped up and began yelling. "What the hell, sensei? Why do we have to share a mission with the Dobe and Emo?" "Kiba-kun!" Hinata scolded her teammate. "Show some respect to Kurenai-sensei. Her orders are final and we don't have room to argue." Everyone turned to the normally quiet girl and she blushed slightly. In truth, Hinata was overjoyed to be able to go on a mission with Naruto. They haven't been able to see each other since they graduated and she began to miss her best friend. Kurenai cleared her throat to gain her composure. "Well, anyway. They'll be here soon. Also, I am still the team leader for this since I'll be the only Jonin sensei on this mission." Shino raised an eyebrow at this. "What about Kakashi-sensei?" he asked. "Kakashi has been given a separate mission from his team. The mission he is going on is too high a level for his genin, so Hokage-sama gave me control of both teams for his mission." Kiba huffed. "I still don't like it." "Like what?" "That I'm gonna make you look bad, dog breath," a voice said from behind him. Kiba jumped and turned. "What the hell, Dobe? Do you want to die?" Naruto chuckled but ignored the threat. He turned to Hinata and rushed her into a hug. "Hina-chan, I have gotten to see you since graduation. I missed you." Hinata giggled and blushed furiously. It's good to see you again, Naruto-kun. I missed you too." Kiba growled, "Fucking love birds." Kurenai turned to her student. "Kiba language." He just growled again and turned away. Akumaru whined at his master. Sakura and Sasuke arrived a few minutes later. Sasuke and Kiba didn't get along any better and Sakura kept yelling to stick up for Sasuke. Kurenai sighed. "This is going to be harder than I thought." She sighed and steeled herself. "Alright teams, let's move." The first few hours went by as follows. Sakura would ask Sasuke for dates while he would ignore her. Every now and then Kiba would try to start a fight with Naruto but would be stopped by either Kurenai or oddly enough Hinata. Hinata and Naruto talked about all the things that they had been doing since graduation. Honestly, Kurenai was happy to see Hinata out of her shell. Naruto seemed to be a good influence on her. And Shino was just silently walking with Tazuna. Things were pretty quiet until Kurenai spotted a puddle in the middle of the road. She narrowed her eyes, but said nothing. Her being a Genjutsu specialist, she was able to easily see through the illusion. Besides, it was midsummer and it hadn't rained in weeks. Only an idiot, or a fresh out of the academy genin, wouldn't notice it. She looked around at the 6 genin and found that only 2 people noticed the oddity. Naruto and Shino were keeping a careful eye on the puddle while looking inconspicuous. She turned her attention back to the puddle when suddenly 2 shinobi jumped out of it and caught her in a chain made of shuriken. One down, the one on the left said as they ripped Kurenai to pieces. That's the end of this tale for now. Like if you enjoyed, because why not? If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. Don't miss the next chapter. Anyways, with that being said, peace.